Well, let's welcome back to Benmore Botanic Garden. This is not about monkey puzzles today, although it kind of is. This is also about Nothofagus and the storm damage from Eowyn. So, partly because I've been studying the monkey puzzles here, and partly because when I first bought the Linn, Peter Baxter, who was the curator at Benmore at the time, was like one of the most encouraging and supportive people from the very beginning. I've always had a real affinity with Benmore, so we sent a Linn team out to help out with clearing up the storm damage. And I just thought I'd do a quick before and after, because this is our last day. We've done loads of stuff already. This is our last day, and I haven't sort of shown what we've been doing. So you can see there are monkey puzzles down, and monkey puzzles are not the hardest trees in the world to clear because although they are very dense, like it's really dense wood, so it's very heavy. We're coming to our last day here, and this Nothofagus down in Chile needs to go. This is all stuff that I'm going to before and after, so I'll show you at the end of the day what we get through, because there's a lot. Like I think the estimate of damage here was something like maybe 800-900 trees down or damaged, of which 200 or 300 I think are huge trees down. So I cannot overstate the extent of that kind of damage. So coming down through here, something tells me that guy was on the way out anyway. More Nothofagus. So this will all have to go as well. Now, and then beyond, there's another big tangle of trees. Now, what you'll see is that this guy, and this is where we get into problems, isn't all the way down. So there's still a fair bit of material sort of hung up. It's not as extreme as all that. There are worse examples. Certainly in the pile down below, what you can see is like there's 2 or 3 trees are falling into each other, which makes it very complicated, because as soon as you cut something huge could come crashing down on top of you, or it could kick your chainsaw, or a branch could be held bent, and as soon as you disturb anything, springs right back up. So it can be really dangerous, this kind of stuff. So we've got our tree surgeons in who are here doing the really heavy duty work at Benmore. Now, if you want to see some of that, it's really very interesting stuff. Go to Instagram and look for Grantland Timber, because that's our pal Jerry, who's come up from down south, and he's doing a lot of the really big tree work. But this stuff is not actually that big. So we're going to get Jerry to come and do the... he's going to come and just drop those trees fully. And once they're on the ground, the rest of us can deal with all that. But we want a specialist to do that stuff, because it's dangerous and it's a lot more technical. Then we will clear up the remains of that Nothofagus. The other big tangle, I'm just going to cut in a second and show you the other big tangle, because it is kind of interesting. And then we're going to go through and deal with a lot of these shonky monkey puzzles. And the big Nothofagus by the Chilean shelter here, we'll probably move this guy because he's right by the path and he's really small, so that'll be easy to deal with. But yeah, it's going to be a busy day. We've got 5 of us in. So I'll pop down, I'll show you the other tangled Nothofagus, then I'll do a wee video at the end of the day just to show you how we get on. Right, here we go, another quick Tree Surgery 101. I'm not trying to explain things to people here. I'm literally passing things on as I myself learn them, so I'm still pretty new to this. I help carrying stuff, I don't actually do any of the serious work. But look at this guy. This really nicely embodies some of the difficulties you have when you're doing tree work, because obviously, let me adjust my hands, that has snapped and fallen, but it's not detached. So you have to cut that. And your question is the weight of this pulling this part down? So when you cut that, this bit is going to spring back because of the weight of the root plate, which is possible. Or is all of this stuff here supporting the weight of this, so when you cut this, the whole thing collapses on top of it? Now, sort of hard to tell, isn't it? Now, my guess would be that when we cut this is going to want to spring back up, but it might collapse. I think it's going to go back up, but I will ask the opinions of my tree surgeons, because that is beyond my pay grade. Right, down to the really, really tangled Nothofagus. Take down to those. Right, that's the crew. Look at these miscreants. Look at them flee when faced with the camera. Right, this is the problem that we're looking at. now. Now, this is what I was talking about when I said about the tangles and the problems that you face. Right, so you can see the main problem here has been this huge bough that has come off this Nothofagus donbei here. Now, as you can see from that root plate, it's also hit something else and taken that out as well, which is what I think actually all these limbs are. And the issue here, of course, is how much force is that root plate trying to exert to pull that back up. It's about vertical, so I'm guessing maybe not that much. But if you look at the size of these limbs here, if we start taking these off, at some point is this whole thing going to want to spin and bring these down on top of us. So this is going to be really tricky. And this is why we are definitely not touching this until the tree surgeon specialists are going to take it down to the ground for us. Once it's down to the ground, we can clear it. But those are our big things. If we go up this path, you get to the other split Nothofagus that I was talking to you before, and then eventually up to the Chilean shelter. So our job is to clear this whole path today and then get to some of the little bitty fallen monkey puzzles that are around. You know, still a couple of those left to clear, but yeah, this is the big project. It's going to be tricky, and I'm curious to see what Jerry makes of this. But I'll do a wee after shot where I can show you afterwards how well we get on with all this. All right, folks, there's going to be a little bit heavy breathing on this one because honestly, I am completely shattered, absolutely shattered. Right, promised I'd do an after. It is 3 o'clock and we have to stop now. It's a little bit early, but because of all the Phytophthora in Benmore, we have to make sure that we have time to get time to clean off all our machinery, the saws, the chipper, even the wheels on the trucks. So here is where that huge Nothofagus was that was lying almost up against the Chilean shelter. There's the stump, there's the remains of the trunk. That little pile there is the chippings, is what remains of the branches and stuff like that. And here we have a clear path from the Chilean hillside. And I'm gonna walk you down to the two other really, really big things, show them nice and clear. I know this is a little bit of showing off, but quite frankly, like the team that we've brought into this garden, they have worked so hard. They've been absolutely insane. So we had, let me try and get all the names right. We had Jerry and Jared on the saws. They're our proper tree surgeons. They've been fantastic. As I said, if you want to see the really big trees we've brought down here, Grantland Timber on Instagram. Then we've had Thomas has done basically engineering most of the driving. Along with Mike, we've had Eddie and Sean have been out, Jer, our site manager, Poppy and Hannah, our two horticulturists at the Linn, myself. Like, it's been quite a lot of us over the time. So we cleared that one huge Nothofagus. We cleared up about half a dozen small dead monkey puzzles that kind of blew over. Do you remember I pointed to that one and said, look at how it's torn and it's all still hung up? Well, that is the remains of the tear right there. And this is all that's left of the tree. Because of the paths here, like getting out this kind of material out of the garden would just be really hard work. So we figure that a lot of stuff in Benmore is allowed to rot in place. It's a very sort of naturalistic foresty kind of environment, and rotting in place doesn't do your garden any harm. We just figured the best thing to do would be to stack it neatly so it looks deliberate, it looks nice, it's clear to people that care has been taken, and then we can let it degrade, feed the mushrooms and the beasties. That was the massive tangle of things. So one pile of chippings here, pile of sticks. That's the big tear that took everything down. So do you remember I said there was that one big Nothofagus bough that came off this tree, fell down, caught in this one. That then in turn crashed down into this guy. Now I'm not sure, there might be a little bit of tidying up still to be done in this tree here, but our time is up. We can't really give any more time to this, unfortunately. Pile of chippings, a little bit of mess, which I feel a bit cheeky leaving, but hopefully that's not much more than a wee rake job. And then we're down to path. All of this was cleared. Dead monkey puzzle. One Pilgerodendron was down, Pilgerodendron uviferum, which is a beautiful tree, loves swampy environments. We've got a couple of really wet spots at the Linn that I would love to get a Pilgerodendron uviferum into. I'd love to get 3 or 4 actually, but the space is so restricted at the Linn that I think the Taggart's motto was, in fact, one of everything, but only one of anything, to deal with the restricted space. So here we are, up at the top of Chile. As you can see, views up to the shelter, no sign of any real damage, beautiful views down the hill into the rest of Chile and Bhutan. So there's one more big tree down, an Nothofagus, that landed on the condor shelter that we haven't had time to get to. But if they can get that dealt with, they can actually open these parts of the garden in 2 weeks, or 10 days in fact, when March rolls around. So our work here is done. I'm going to go down, help everybody clean the trucks and the digger, and go for a pint because I'm absolutely knackered. But yeah, it's been a fun 10 days work actually. I've really enjoyed it. Ta-ra!